right, let's go back to Africa. Got one of the military people over there in Kenya. You originally tried to call in about something happening in Kenya. Go ahead, and then I'll get to everybody else. Go ahead, you're on the air.
Okay, Alex, I just wanted to basically say what I said. Although, in Africa, the military is helping a lot with the people here, which is a good thing.
Yeah, but see, that's PR. Hold on. See, they'll have you build bridges, put in medical clinics, and the doctors in there getting malaria and fighting the bugs, wanting to help little black kids. They don't know they're injecting them with different vaccines that have had different compounds added. They've been caught, mainstream news, adding hormones to tetanus to sterilize women, adding HIV to different injections. I mean, they've been caught, but see, it's compartmentalized.
Well, the things that we do over here, we'll help them with some things, but as the medical aspect, the problem they have with a lot of their clinics is they put a lot of the Kenyans or the Africans through college, to medical school and stuff like that, and they never come back. They stay in the United States, or they go to Britain, or they go somewhere else where they can make money. That's the big problem they're having here, is they don't come back to do medical, work in their communities or in the country. So
I agree, and that allows Bill and Melinda Gates. That allows Bill and Melinda Gates and all them to fill up the vacuum.
Right, which is a real bad thing, because like I was saying, the people of Africa are actually really good people, and I've had meeting a lot of nice people over here, and they're decent people.
Are you seeing a big Chinese presence vying for control in Africa?
There is a major struggle, in a sense, that continues over here between different nations, like the Arab nations, Chinese nations, and just different countries. They come in and they help build infrastructure within the country or in the continent, and basically making relationships with them so they can work together and different things.
Yeah, that's to get at the resources. Well, God bless you, sir. Good to hear from you, and thanks for spreading the word there in Africa. God bless you. Take care. Okay, there in East Africa, folks. Let's talk to Ben in Austin. Ben, thanks for holding her on the air.
Hey, absolutely, Alex. Thanks for having me on. Where do we start with this conversation? How do we get people to understand that these globalists are a Luciferian cult of, pedophiles?
They are. I mean, they really are. I mean, even Vanity Fair does a cover story admitting the men are all having homosexual sex at Bohemian Grove, all the Christian conservative leaders, and then it's funny, and then we're still bad to report it and say they're hypocrites. My whole issue is, look at the Aztecs, look at the Romans, look at all the craziness that every government turns into, and think about Tuskegee and the radiation experiments and all the stuff government over and over again has been caught doing to the medical system, and then we're just going to trust them now, and then it comes out for 36 years they've been taking our blood at birth without asking us for a secret DNA database at Cold Springs Harbor, which is the eugenics records office. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you take that step and believe that these people are a Luciferian cult of pedophiles, that falls right in line. The feminism destroying families, the eugenics destroying families. We can talk about the cremation of care ritual at Bohemian Grove. It's a druidic absolution ritual, designed to put all of the sins of these global...
Exactly. You got ultra-rich elites that are sick of everything normal. They're sick of the best-looking mistress. They're sick of 15 houses and 10 Learjets. They like cutting little kids' heads off. I appreciate your call. They like snuff films. They like evil. Believe me, it's not just a pedophile ring. But, folks, it's so hellish. It's so hellish what's running things, and the public just isn't ready to accept it. And that's why you're going to get everything you got taken, folks. But you'll remember what I said later and then fight back. That's what's important. Down the road, you're going to remember this show. It's never too late to fight the globalists. And I know you're in denial because you were trained to be cowards from birth, but you can wake up and be men and women again. Steve in Houston, you're on the air.
Yeah, good afternoon, Alex. Hey, I had an interesting conversation earlier today with a lady at church, and she was mentioning to me she has a bunch of apartment complex properties here in the Harris County area just outside of Houston. And she just mentioned to me out of the blue how that she's had wells drilled for these properties so she doesn't have to be on city water, municipal water supply. Well, now the county of Harris is making her pay for that water, and they're charging her at the rate of 2.5 million gallons I think it's per month rather than less than 300,000. And I asked her if they put a meter on it. She said, no, all they're doing is estimating. And so I launched into from that about what they did in what's that country down in South America? Argentina. And I said, here, they did the same thing, and then they had people getting bills of $2,000 and upwards per month.
No, that's it. And I totally agree with you. Let me explain this. And the UN brags. That's why everything's about water. You hear about Boone Pickens. Oh, he wants to help put windmills in the Panhandle. No, that's the biggest aquifer in the U.S. His deal is actually to get that water. So they teach all the yuppies that there's no water left, so they'll accept artificial scarcity, just like they tell women diamonds are precious when they're semi-precious stones. Rubies and emeralds are actually precious. Diamonds are crap. They're just geographically only in Africa, one place in Arkansas, a small area in Canada, and a few areas in Australia. And the globalists bought all those areas up. Diamonds just lay all over the ground. Diamonds are semi-precious. They're not even at the top of the scale for semi-precious. But they tell women they're semi-precious. I mean that they're precious. They advertise you got to have them. Same thing with water. They tell you, don't use water. We're out of water. There's no water. They'll show you a lake when it goes down. When it's a man-made lake to begin with, and meant to do that. And they train you, and that's why all these big water districts that are really semi-private are going around snatching water, using taxpayer money to do it. And they're going to artificially tell you there's no water. They're doing it all over the world, and double, triple, quadruple. And by law in California and Texas, they're installing them without telling the public that the new, quote, smart thermostats, they remote control in your house. And so they're just, again, that's what globalism is, ripping you off, scamming you, squeezing you. And yes, all over the country and the world, it's the same people run it all. They're charging you for your own well water. They're coming into established 100-year-old wells with plenty of water. They're saying you can't drill wells. They're saying water's not renewable. They're saying trees aren't renewable. You see, the globalists are monopoly men. The ultra-rich and wealthy got their power through government. See, conservatives, mainline conservatives won't tell you big corporations run the government. They are bigger than most governments. So the 100 biggest economies, over 50, are now corporations. You understand? They are government. And the left says all corporations are bad and government's good. So see, the right's defending big corporations, the left's defending government as if those two are fighting when they all work together. And until this scam is realized, we're in deep trouble. Can I cram one more in? All right, we're going to come back and go to Peter. And we're going to go to John, Carl, Chris, and others. But does anybody care out there that I just explained to you that all the major wealthy people of the world are allowed to put their money into tax-free foundations, but only if the profits go for eugenics? Do any of you care that almost every major biological weapons scientist that I know of, if you go read their graduate papers to be accepted to biowarfare, they are eugenicists talking about killing humanity? Do you like that the folks that work at the bioweapons labs want you and your family dead? Do you understand they're building a police state lockdown grid, so once they have their New World Order grid in place, they're going to up the ante and start killing people faster and in more obvious ways? I know you won't believe me, but after they kill you and your family, you might.